Okay, it is now the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to today's webinar. Today we're going to be talking about how you can improve the quality of your leads using your law firm's website. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. Just a few housekeeping matters before we get started. This webinar is being recorded and will be sent to you via email shortly afterwards, so there's no need to take notes unless you'd like to do so. And in the event that you're having any issues with the audio or visual components of this webinar, please go ahead and use the raised hand feature in the GoToWebinar control panel, or you can type us a message and we'll try to get that resolved for you as quickly as possible. So my name is Drew Mancini, and I am the Digital Marketing Manager here at Lawlytics. I have a background as a marketing consultant for solos and small law firms in digital marketing practices, as well as branding. And now I continue to enjoy helping to make marketing more accessible and enjoyable for attorneys by really just creating those resources that work to demystify successful marketing practices. So first, let's talk about quality over quantity when it comes to your leads. And why does quality even matter? I think it's helpful to first talk about why you should even be placing so much emphasis on quality for the leads for your practice in the first place. And before we even get into that, let's briefly talk about your marketing funnel. So we're going to be talking about your marketing funnel in a lot more detail in just a bit, but while we're here, let's consider how your marketing funnel operates alongside your lead quality. And what your marketing funnel has to do with your quality of leads is that for the most part, your potential clients are going to be coming into your funnel at the very top. Again, we'll be covering this in a little bit more detail, but at this top of your funnel is what is called the awareness stage of your marketing. And that's where your potential client is either inquiring about legal representation, or they might not know yet that they need legal representation. And for either reason, the potential client is going to hopefully connect with your website through a search engine by a relevant search query. So while the potential client is at the top of your marketing funnel, your firm's marketing should be working to encourage the lead, ideally a qualified lead, to move to the next stage of the marketing funnel, and then from there to the next stage and the next stage until they have become your client. Because so many of your leads will be colliding with your firm and your overall brand at the top of that funnel, they essentially have a long ways to travel to the bottom of that funnel. And a higher quality lead is going to have a much easier time moving through those stages and making that conversion for your firm rather than a lesser qualified or quality lead. This is also a helpful stage of your marketing for identifying any red flags with your firm's digital marketing. So for example, if you're consistently getting leads for matters that you maybe don't handle, or leads from outside the geographic area in which you practice, this is probably an indication that something just isn't working with your marketing and it's missing the mark as far as quality goes. And that brings me to my next point, which is the impact of low quality leads. So consider a lead that is low quality, and by low quality, it likely just means that they are either unqualified due to their location or the matter type, or maybe even both of those reasons. And despite being unaligned with your ideal client profile, they have somehow found themselves moving through your marketing funnel until eventually they are lost as a lead, either because they are unqualified or they disqualify themselves and bounce from your website. This unqualified lead will reflect poorly on your marketing strategy because an influx of unqualified leads can really just spike your website's bounce rate, and that impacts your search engine optimization. So if your website is attracting leads that aren't aligned with your firm's services and offerings, the natural outcome is for the leads to, of course, just bounce from your website and leave. But those higher bounce rates, however nuanced they may be, they ultimately signal to Google that its users are not finding the substance of your website to be in line with what they were looking for. And as a result, Google is in the business of, matching people with the best possible answer. So as a result, Google might suggest your firm's website to less of its users because it's having trouble aligning its users with your website. On the other hand, the benefits of quality leads can lead to a more seamless client journey. They can improve your conversion rates, improve your client satisfaction, grow your brand awareness and your reputation. And all of those elements work together to ultimately increase your website's visibility on search engines and really build that trust with Google as well. So for example, a high quality lead is more likely to feel satisfied with your firm's services and leave a positive review or refer your firm to a friend. And by working to attract those more high quality leads, over time, your firm can build a strong positive reputation with both clients and search engines like Google. So now how can you start putting this into practice, starting with creating an effective marketing funnel? So a functioning and effective legal content marketing funnel strategy is going to take a potential client from those early stages of engagement, maybe from that first exposure from a Google search, for example, all the way to the finish line where they have become your client. So if your marketing funnel is designed with intention, it should work to attract potential clients on search, engage them with informative and high quality content. It should work to capture their content or contact information, maybe through some sort of contact form on your website. It should nurture them throughout their journey with additional resources on your website, or maybe through things that you post on your social media. It should convert them into paying clients, but it should also retain them. And finally, the funnel should also help you ask for referrals or positive reviews. So let's break down the funnel and go through those 4 stages together. So first, a general content marketing funnel outlines a customer's journey with a business from the beginning stages of interest to the final purchasing stage, like we said. So for attorneys, your content marketing funnel is going to describe the journey your potential client takes with your firm from when they become aware of your practice to when they become your client. And essentially, the funnel metaphor just represents those gradual filtering of website visitors from that super broad point, maybe on Google, to someone who is ready to hire you. So let's go into these 4 stages, starting with the awareness stage. Awareness is the first stage in your legal content marketing funnel, and at this point, a potential client is either aware that they need to seek legal representation or they're attempting to research a legal problem that they may be experiencing. But for either reason, a potential client will then connect with your website through a search engine by that relevant search query, as we mentioned earlier in today's presentation. And at this stage, your website can work to attract these potential clients by you publishing web content that answers the common questions that they might be searching. So at this stage in the funnel, you're really working to create content that is matching with those searches so that they can find each other on search organically and for little to no cost. So for example, a potential client might achieve awareness for your law firm after getting in a car wreck and suffering injuries. After that accident, they've conducted some research about what their next steps are, and they were connected with your website through an FAQ page about car wrecks that are relevant to their area. So to support this stage in that person's customer journey, you might create content like practice area pages, blogs, those FAQ pages, videos, social media posts, and more to help support and bridge that gap so that when they're doing the searching, your website is popping up as an answer. After the awareness stage is the consideration or evaluation phase, which is where your potential client is aware of their legal problem and has discovered a potential solution is maybe to hire an attorney. So while your potential client is in the evaluation stage, your website content should be working to build trust and confidence with them so that they're comfortable moving forward to that next stage and to the hiring stage. So pieces of content in the evaluation stage should discuss specific issues that the targeted audience faces as a result of their legal matter. So content like this could look like blogs, case studies, your attorney bio, or an about the firm page, as well as client testimonials, all keeping in mind and all designed to ultimately demonstrating your skills, your expertise, and experience in your areas of practice. And ultimately, you should be showing how and why you are the best attorney for their legal problem and feel that you are competent and trustworthy. And then there's the conversion stage, and this stage begins when the potential client has made their decision to hire an attorney and they're ready to achieve that legal representation. But they still might in this stage be considering their options, and your marketing efforts in this stage should be working to make that final push to convert your lead into a paying client. So a few conversion state strategies that are particularly effective for attorneys might include offering free consultations, or maybe you have calls to action such as click to call phone numbers, or maybe actual physical buttons on your website, contact forms, as well as chatbots can be a good strategy for that final stage. And at this point in their customer journey, your potential client has a very strong intent to hire an attorney. So to make sure that you're the attorney that they hire, it's helpful to have several calls to action throughout your website to encourage them to reach out to you. In addition, follow-up emails can be a valuable conversion tool for potential clients that don't convert right away. This is a super popular marketing tactic for estate planning, for example. People don't always need an estate planning attorney in a very immediate fashion, but they might want one for down the line or maybe in a couple months. So having that email follow-up can be extremely beneficial to your marketing strategy if that's something that you can implement. And finally, at the bottom of your marketing funnel is the advocacy or word of mouth stage. So if your funnel is operating in its most effective state, it shouldn't just end with the conversion and instead support a way for the client to continue advocating for your firm's services after they're no longer in your care. So that might look like them leaving a review either on your website or on Google. It could look like word of mouth referrals, recording a video testimonial, or something similar to that. And in this last part of today's webinar, let's review the 4 top ways that you can boost your lead quality for your firm using just your firm's website. And the first thing you should be doing is making your forms more relevant and specific. So if you have a basic contact form that routinely gets spammed, or it might be routinely submitted by potential clients who are unqualified or low quality, it's a good idea to consider making your form more specific to the matters that you handle and the types of clients that you typically work with or want to work with. So for example, if you're a personal injury attorney looking to attract more quality auto accident leads, you want to collect more specific information about the accident on your contact form, or at least you could try this tactic maybe on some of your pages. So this could look like adding more fields to your contact form. So as you can see the example of the contact form that's on the slide, this is super basic and it's only capturing the necessities. And this is totally fine for a lot of scenarios and a lot of pages on your website, but it can be advantageous to keep your forms brief like this, or you can try to possibly make them more complex and capture that additional information so that maybe if you were asking for like date of accident or city where the accident took place, a description of the vehicles involved, other details like that, you could potentially assess the lead quality and act accordingly more quickly because you have more of the information off the bat and you can qualify or disqualify your leads just more streamlined. I'll also show you all how easy this is to do, adding all of these specific fields using the Lawlytics platform when I show you all around the platform at the end of today's presentation. So before we get into how you can start building better calls to action for your law firm, let's first start with the purpose of having a call to action for attorneys specifically. So this is going to be step 2 to getting those better quality leads. So the call to action is really just intended to encourage the reader to complete an action. So for lawyers, this is typically to get a potential client to reach out to you in some way, either call you or email you or submit the form, whatever it is that you're asking them to do. These can be as simple as a call now button on your homepage to something a little more complex like a closing paragraph that is on a blog post. It's also helpful to think of it as your website's kind of like final instruction to a potential client. So while they're still kind of floating in that middle to lower part of your marketing funnel, this can help be the final push to get them towards the bottom of the funnel and get them to that closing stage. So think of it as when you think about how they've approached your website and what they've gone through, maybe they've checked out your practice area pages, your client testimonials, your attorney bio, they've gotten some helpful information from your blog. This is really the final instruction where they now feel comfortable with what you do and who you serve, and you can encourage them to reach out at this point. So I will say, though, in order to get started with creating high quality calls to action that are really going to be effective, the most important thing to keep in mind is that you just need to have a clear idea of what your goal is for that particular call to action, and that's going to really help drive all of your decisions when you're creating these. And how you begin to adjust your calls to action to be more effective is really to just adjust them to account for your ideal client's behavior. So this is really just about understanding how your ideal clients want to collect information and how they want to get in touch with you. So understanding your calls to action in this context is going to guide your formatting, your wording, and your placement of your calls to action on your website. So for example, if your ideal client persona is someone who is a busy entrepreneur, if your calls to action are pushing for a more like immediate phone call for a consultation, this is probably not going to be the best way to resonate with that audience. Instead, they might be more of the type of person to fill out a form and give you more details about what they need assistance with, and then schedule a time to meet with you when their schedule allows for it. As for exactly what to include in your calls to action for better results, you should be, one, using action verbs like the ones you see on the screen, like click here, download now, etc. Two, you should be telling your lead exactly what happens next after they complete the action. This helps manage expectations, but it also makes you look good when you deliver on your CTA's promise so that you can build trust with a client more quickly. And three, you need to be intentional with design when it comes to your CTAs. This is going to include color theory, the size of your buttons, the font you choose, things like that, the branding of the call to action, and the placement and formatting throughout your website. All things to consider. And then number three, we have you need to use geographic and experience specific headlines as your step number three. So if you don't currently have localized content on your firm's website, this is definitely a missed opportunity to get that free web traffic from Google that's going to boost the effectiveness of your marketing while helping to keep your costs lower and lower. Local content marketing for lawyers is essentially just where you target your potential clients geographically with that written website content and information that's relevant and unique to the potential clients in that area. So for example, this can be as simple as using targeted keywords throughout your headers and your content so that Google has an easier time associating your website with a particular geographic area. This tends to be a more effective marketing strategy for those solo attorneys and small law firms because more often than not, you're competing with deep advertising pockets of other law firms in your area, and they can afford to spend a lot on advertising that boosts their local presence on Google. And because of that, you need to be focusing on how you're going to niche down so that your marketing efforts are as targeted as possible so that you can increase your chances of being found on Google organically. And again, today's focus is more about how you can improve the quality of your leads instead of just looking for ways that you can increase the traffic or the clicks or the hits on your website, because the quality leads are what's going to really be growing your business at the end of the day. And also another thing I'll be showing you when we take a little tour in just just a bit is that Lawlytics content library, which helps you create that proven, localized, and optimized practice area content in a really easy, straightforward way, which I'll show you. And my last tip of today is to not neglect your web performance data if you're strategizing how to get high quality leads more consistently. Data is important because, for example, if your pages on your website produce fantastic leads while others result in poor quality leads, that's really vital information that you can use to understand your potential clients and improve your marketing at the same time. And as a good starting point, I would take a 6-month report of your website performance and look for high traffic and low traffic pages, as well as anything else that might pop up like broken links and things like that. If you're not sure how to do that, how to pull that 6-month report, or if your marketing provider happens to be withholding this information from you, this should be one that's a red flag, but this should be a top priority because you need to know that information in order to make any sort of educated decision about your website marketing. But once you do have that report, take a look at what's performing pretty well. And from there, you want to take a stock of what is actually on those pages or on that page in particular. So for example, take a little audit and see what the page has as far as does it have a visible contact form? Do you have a call to action within the content of the page? What is the formatting like? And is this formatting the same or is it different than your other pages? So the same practice more or less applies to your low performing pages. So for your low performing pages, you want to look at things like if maybe that page is low performing because it's hidden too deep in your website navigation, or maybe the content on the page is not engaging, or maybe it doesn't use localized language, or maybe it's formatted weird. No matter what it is, this is a great starting point for yourself to look at those high performing, low performing, and just kind of look at those pages and visually see what might be resonating with your potential clients and your web visitors, because it's going to help you understand those potential clients a little bit better, and then you can make strategic decisions about your marketing and hopefully convert more of those visitors into leads. And one thing I will show you first off as we get into this tour is that we now integrate or have a more seamless integration with Google Analytics. So while we do have Lawlytics specific website reporting, Google Analytics is that kind of extra boost that you can have for your website reporting so you can get more information and just more detailed information about exactly how your website is performing, how it's correlating with those marketing efforts that you're putting in, and what you should be seeing back. So let me go ahead and take us into our dashboard here. So before I show you around the Google Analytics integration, this is the Lawlytics dashboard. So if you have a website with us, this is kind of just your landing spot where you're going to have access to any changes that you need to make on your website or any updates or edits. So we have like shortcuts here to our content library, which I mentioned briefly in a previous slide, as well as your SEO snapshot if you're curious to know exactly how your website has been optimized for search, as well as these shortcuts to make a new blog post, add a case result, new pages, things like that. This is just kind of your landing spot for all of those. So to get into the Google Analytics integration, I'll show you that. So we integrate with several different useful technologies that help make running your website enjoyable and effective, and also enjoyable and effective for your clients. And so Google Analytics is one of those ways that you can get a deeper look into your website performance data and just know more about what is going on. So for this purpose, I don't have any reporting that is relevant for you all to see right now because I'm just using an example website. But just wanted to put it on your radar that we do integrate with Google Analytics for easy reporting. The next thing I'll show you is those contact forms. So under libraries and under forms, these are all of my created forms, my previously created forms, but I just wanted to show you around how easy it is to create forms with the Lollytics platform and make all of those little adjustments so that I can make a really specific form that would resonate with my potential clients just a little bit better. So if I were to create a new one, and all I would have to do is click new, and then I'm going to fill out all of my fields. So maybe the title of this is just for, contact us today. And then I'll have some sort of intro text, like maybe again, we're going back to the PI example of you've been in an accident recently, give us some info and we will get in touch with you within 24 hours. So that's what I would do for the intro text. Maybe I would redirect them to a specific URL, maybe another page on my website about information that would help someone who has been in an accident recently. Maybe I could direct them to that, or you don't have to redirect them at all. And then I have all of my fields. These are just the basic fields, but I can add more and then also assign it to a certain formatting. So maybe I have a checkbox one and I want to know all the ways, all the people at fault. Maybe you were in a multi-car accident or, something like that. One thing I will note about this is that for our phone number and our email, when a form is submitted on your website, it is sent directly to your email so that you're notified right away. And those phone and email fields, when they're assigned to phone and email in these form types, they will be hyperlinked in that email so that you can cut out the middleman and just click right away and get in touch with that client. Say it's a really urgent issue and you now have an easy way to get in touch with them. And while we're on that, if you were a solo attorney, you would be the main recipient to these form submissions, of course. But if you had other people in your office, you can assign multiple people to receive these intakes, or maybe you just have the one person that handles intakes in your office. Those can be sent directly to them, and make sure that you they get them every single time. And then also you can connect your forms to your practice management system so that that information is again tracked and you are skipping a step with tracking that information and that potential new client contact information. So that's just a little bit about forms. If I went through this a bit quickly, so if you have any questions, just let me know. You can drop those in the chat. And then the last thing I will show you is creating a new page of content using the content library. So we talked a little bit about localized content and how important that is for helping your website connect with more search queries on search engines like Google. And by creating a piece of content using our content library, this is a really easy way to get localized content, but in much less time. So let's get started with that. So for our content library, these are pre-written topic cards that are professionally written and they've been optimized for search engine performance. And we have them for over 20 practice areas right now and across and over 320 practice area topics. So we're adding to this at a consistent basis and adding new practice areas, adding new topic cards. So this is always growing and you can always rely on new content coming in that you can add to your website. But so for example, let's go into business law. These are some of the topic cards that are available for business law, but let's see about this business formation one. So right away you can see all the fields that are in blue. That's what we're going to be customizing in the next step. But you'll also notice that what's in blue is localized. So when I create this piece of content, I'm going to make sure to put in my state so that that little piece of localized content will give me a greater chance of being matched with a search query in Google. Same thing with giving my consultation type, phone number. These are all the things that I'm going to be customizing. And then on the left, if I'm just previewing this content, I can see all the ways that it's been optimized. So there's multiple link opportunities, it's got optimized subtitles, it's a top 5 business law page, and it gives me organic traffic opportunities. So I'm satisfied with this, and I'm going to use this template. So if you have multiple websites with us, you can choose from this drop-down menu and pick which website you want to publish the piece of content to. And so you'll see these blank fields are what we're going to be filling in. For my purpose, though, oh, no, it didn't. So usually I have these saved entries that will auto-populate for me. I think I did clear my cookies, though, recently, so that's all right. We'll do Virginia, example, law firm, and you'll see as I'm typing them in, they're being populated on the right. And we'll do free consultation in Richmond. Okay, so I'm satisfied with all of my entries. I'm going to complete my customization. And then here I am in the backside of the Lawlytics platform. This is what I haven't shown you all yet. So this is basically all of the pages on your website. On the left, this is where you're going to be able to edit them on the right. It's very straightforward. It's almost just like using any sort of word processor. As you can see here, you just click and you type, and then once you save the changes, it's live on the front end of your website. So it takes very little time to make any sort of change or edit or update to your pages. So for this, for example, I'm happy with this page, but maybe I wanted to add an image or a video, or maybe a table. I can add a little widget, my map, things like that to kind of customize it to my firm's branding and my firm's messaging. I can choose which page to nest this under in my navigation menu. So let's just choose about our firm. And then once I publish this, or I can save it as a draft for later, I just wanted to show you all what this would look like on the front end. So this is an example of a sample website with us. We've got our firm's name and logo, a click to call phone number. This is my navigation menu. So those were all of the page items that were on the left in the back end. You can see that that new page is nested where I assigned it to. And then on this page, this is my new practice area page. And then it gives more shortcuts for that web visitor to explore my website a bit further. I've got a handy dandy contact form. I've got the piece of content itself that is formatted correctly for my web page, and then my menu towards the bottom. So this is just an example of what your piece of content could look on the front end. And as you can see, it was very quick for me to create that page and get it published and live on my website. But back to our slides. So thank you for going through that demo with me. Your firm's website is the foundation of your digital marketing strategy, whether you are just starting out or trying to improve it. That high quality and modern website is going to be really your first step to targeting your local ideal client more efficiently and affordably. We streamline the technical and digital marketing aspects of managing your firm's website, and our platform is super simple to use, as you saw, and it really just puts lawyers in control of their digital marketing. So if you have any questions for me today, please go ahead and drop them in the chat, or if anything comes up later, these are all the great ways to get in touch with us. You can also go to our website and schedule a demo with a product expert if you are curious about seeing something that I didn't show you all a little bit more in depth. But that's going to be the end of our presentation today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Have a good one.